We heard there from Anthony Vallejo. He's lost twice now to the Tiwi Bombers. So the Tiwi Bombers are turning to be a bit of a headache for some of the sides. But welcome to Marara Oval. It's great to have your company wherever you are listening as well. Waratah and St Mary's match just about to get underway. Both teams just going through their final warm-up. For you two, what's your pick, Natasha Medbury and Dominic McCormack?
The biggest out for Waratahs, I think, and is really going to show today is Abe Ankers. He's been probably one of the best players of the competition this season and had an absolute blinder for Thunder. Unlucky not to get picked up as a maybe mature-aged draft during the draft week, but I think St Mary's, just for the occasion, will be too strong today.
Yeah, I tend to agree for exactly those reasons as well. A-Bank is a big out. You know, Justin Bugler still unable to come back into the team. Two wonderfully experienced players for that club. And then you look across the team sheet. While they do have some real run and good quality there, Kim Cantilla, Brendan Mincook, Jacob Shaper's a good player, Henry Karanua, very good up forward. Stephen Strubens, speaking of up forward, you know, Stephen Strubens has played some great footy already for Tars, and I love Matthew Blake. He's a fellow who's played many good seasons so far for Tars, but you look on the other side of the sheet, and the team that St Mary's is going to put on the park today is going to be a very, very strong team. They are out here today to make sure that they win in the Rioli's 1000th game.
They've just lost a lot of running players. A-Bank is Brody Carroll as well. That's their running there.
And from the back line as well, Tim Mosquito's out.
Yeah, Tim Mosquito.
He has had a great couple of games. Exactly. So Tim Mosquito, I think, too, will be a big out for them. But yes, Abraham Ankers not out for Waratah. But St Mary's and Waratah about to go head-to-head. This round 9 clash, already one game completed last night, and it was the Darwin Buffaloes' thrilling 4-point win over the Palmerston Magpies at their home ground. But at the moment, in the Saturday afternoon fixture in Darwin, in the top end, right in the heat, it's 2:30 local time, and it's St Mary's with a very special Guernsey on today, celebrating the Rioli family. 1,000 Premier League games collectively. They've got a beautiful new jumper on, help designed too by Shannon Rioli, their captain, so a special moment for him indeed. To get us underway, Dominic McCormack with the first bounce.
Thanks very much, Shannon. St Mary's kicking to the airport end in this first quarter. Tars to the Michael Long centre end. Ryan Smith in the middle as the ruckman for St Mary's. And for the Waratah Football Club, just trying to pick up that player there.
That's
in the
Wilkins,
middle.
And good to see he's back. He got a cork, I think, late last week and came off. So Wilkins back out.
Wilkins up against Ryan Smith. Ball tossed high in the air. Smith got a little tap away, a little kick comes out there from David Armitage. Good to see him back in the green and gold. Tackle laid on Shannon Rioli at half forward. Swept a handball out to Leroy Larson. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Tars come away with the footy. Crashing in was Daniel Simpson, and holding the ball was the call. Tackle laid here by Josh Cheek. In fact, it was Jackson Geary. So Geary to take the free kick. Long kick inside 50. Target down there, Anthony Wilson, and he takes the mark. That's all too easy there, Natasha Medbury. He's taken that mark 35 metres from goal, 10 metres in from the boundary, left forward pocket.
Yeah, and he didn't take it out with stretch hands either. Just got his defender on the right side of the drop of the footy then, and good start to St Mary's if they could nail this one.
So Anthony Wilson on the approach, crosses the paint of 50. Kick on its way. Good-looking kick off the right boot. That is a superb start from St Mary's. Free kick in the middle. Beautiful kick down to Anthony Wilson. Goal on the board. And we've gone 1 minute in the first quarter.
And he knew as soon as he kicked it as well. We watch on replay here. Jackson Geary, good start to the game. Kicks it in, and he just managed to get on the wrong side of his opponent. Just hold him out. That was O'Connor. Liam O'Connor for Waratahs, but Anthony Wilson, dangerous player for St Mary's, and when his confidence is up, watch out. I think one of the fastest players in the South Australian footy at one stage. I think they did a race.
Well, it wasn't fast just then. Caught on the wrong side and wasn't even able to get a fist to it. Back up in the middle. St Mary's won straight. Smith wins it down. In the middle, now it comes out to centre half forward. Great battle on and a good defensive mark from Zobel. Right on the paint of 50. In the middle of the park, he goes down to the left wing, trying to find Wilkins, but it went over the head to Smith from St Mary's. Now back inside their forward 50. At the back, Calder, not able to fly there. Zobel from Waratahs, desperate on the ground. Got a handball out to Rakawasa. Rakawasa has incorrect disposal. They've called it.
Kicked off the ground.
Been kicked off the ground, and it's been play on. So St Mary's.
I think it was Morris Rioli Jr.
Rioli Jr. on the bottom of that pack. And the goal has been awarded. That's come out of nothing. Directly in front, 40 metres. Rakawasa was caught with the ball, and it came down to the ground. And everyone stopped, all the defensive players anyway, for Waratah. And why not?
Advantage. Shannon Rioli letting him know he's just kicked the goal, sir. Well, that's what you do. You know, you've got to play the whistle these days. You just have to play the whistle.
So 2 straight goals, 2 minutes gone, and St Mary's 12-0 over Waratahs.
Ball back in the middle. Tossed high. Smith just waited at the back there, and a free kick given for a Shepherd.
Geary started well.
And Geary it is who's been shepherded off the footy. I thought it was in the ruck contest, but no, Geary. So his second free kick already. Long kick down to full forward. No mark taken. Bottom of the pack there. McFarlane with the handball, I should say. Morris Rioli Jr. with the kick on goal. Ryan Smith takes a mark in the goal square. It's looking a little bit too easy for the green and gold at the moment. But just a kick and hope towards goal there by Morris Rioli Jr. Ryan Smith, who worked hard from the ruck contest, ran straight down to the goal square, takes the mark dead in front.
Yeah, good running by the big fella.
So Jordan Wilkins having to stand on the mark there.
He loves kicking a goal as well.
He does indeed. Well, he's got an opportunity here. 3.5 minutes gone. Ryan Smith lopes in, kicks the goal over Jordan Wilkins' head, and St Mary's are away. 3 straight 18, 3.5 minutes gone. What a start to the first quarter.
And you can see what their game plan is for St Mary's. Well, just kick it long into the 50. They've got a few big targets down there, and both occasions, that's what Jackson Geary has done. Gone long. First time he hit Anthony Wilson. This time he goes for Calder, comes to the back, and again, dangerous. Morris Rioli Jr. got his hands on the footy, a quick kick, and good running. Ryan Smith, he had to mark that. Even though it was in the goal square, you had to mark it. You weren't sure if it was going to go through.
Well, 6 minutes gone, and Waratah have not had the ball in the forward 50. So ball up in the middle, 18-0 to Saints. Smith wins it down for St Mary's, but it is going to go to the advantage of Waratah. And just tapping it forward is Tipalura. He might have been taken high, but it's been allowed to play on the western wing. Waratah still trying to get a handball away. Zobel gets a kick in, finds Shaper. Shaper's on the centre square, and an ugly kick finds Geary at the back end of the western wing. He goes short, finds Wilson. Wilson goes across the middle of Marara Oval, long ball in, and it is an easy mark to Calder. Wow, 40 metres out, slight angle, and Calder has absolutely left Rakawasa in his wake.
By about 15 metres, I reckon he left him behind.
But they knew what they were doing. It's what you said a moment ago,
the long
Natasha.
Kick
they knew what to expect.
They went from the western wing, quick.
And you don't want to turn the ball over to someone like Jackson Geary as well. He already has leather poisoning on any given day, but you don't want to actually give him more.
So Calder trying to step up the full forward for his first kick of the game. He'll hit it on 45 metres, a slight angle. He's got the distance easily, but just to the left, not the accuracy. So St Mary's 3-1-19 are leading Waratah no score, 5 minutes gone in the first quarter.
Tasked to bring the footy back into play. Kicking duties going to Bailey Zobel. Comes out wide after going for a little bit of a run. Contest, and the ball thumped over the line for a boundary throw-in. Left half forward favouring St Mary's on the scoreboard side.
They just can't find a free player at the moment, Waratahs. They can't break through. And I know it's only 6 minutes gone, but they're just struggling to find a free man that they can get the run and carry with.
Boundary throw-in's a good one. Ryan Smith just takes the ball easily out of the ruck contest. Geary with a handball. Nice little tap came from Shannon Rioli to Wilson. Shot on goal. Just bounces from the goal square to the right. So another behind on the board for St Mary's. 3-2-20, leading Waratah yet to score. 6.5 gone in the first quarter.
Clever play by Shannon Rioli. Knew not to take possession of it, just tapped it over to a running Anthony Wilson. Unfortunate bounce.
Talking about running, Rakawasa with the kick out. He went for a run, hit it to the 50-metre mark, drop marked by Waratahs. Now there's about 10 men around the ball over on the left. It's kicked out and kicked forward by Waratah Waratah. And there'll be a throw in.
No, it's given as deliberate, Shannon.
Geez, that's going to be a consistent call for the rest of the day.
He was hugging the boundary, so any kick was going to, even if it was lucky to bounce inside, was probably always going to be deliberate then if there was no one around. So the ball in from underneath the scoreboard, put into the left forward pocket for Waratah, not able to be marked there by Peter McFarlane. Kicked into Calder, who's on the front lead again, not able to pick the mark. Now it's Rakawasa picking up the ball. He's tackled, and there's going to be an incorrect disposal going towards St. Mary's. Rakawasa is having a very tough start here, the TARS defender. And there is going to be a kick on goal.
Armitage.
30 metres out, slight angle, and Armitage is trying to put the St. Mary's team, who've come out, Natasha, on fire and put them ahead by 26 points if he can nail this.
Well, this is his second game for St. Mary's, David Armitage.
The left footer. And the 30-metre mark, and he was off a couple of steps, and Armitage, easy as you like, high fives he collects as he sprints from the field, and St. Mary's are cruising along here now, 4-2-26 to TARS, yet to score.
So it was holding the ball, good tackle by Armitage. We watch on the replay there, just wrapped up his arms, he couldn't get rid of it, illegal disposal, well done. And one thing St. Mary's are doing is really running through their rotations here, and Waratah's a little bit behind. They haven't done as many rotations. They've got the fresh legs out there. Can't remember if it was a 2:30 game that David Armitage played his first game. I think it was a later game.
I think it may have been a later game.
Yeah, so welcome to 2:30 in Darwin.
Jared Waite certainly played a 2:30 game when he first started. At Armitage, they just made that shot on goal look so easy. Very professional player for a long period of time. Ball up in the middle, Ryan Smith taps to the back. Paredes gets a handball away. Cheek had a little touch on it, manages to flick it out the back towards Ryan Smith. Gathers, just kept his eye on the footy beautifully. Got it out to Geary. Quick handball away. Saints under pressure here. Nice little throw up to Ben Rioli. Geary in there again. Ball flicked out. TARS take possession. Great pressure coming from them. Kick comes from Hemmings, but ill-directed, and Jack Long takes the mark straight away. And what a great kick that was. Not finished off well there by Jacob Long at all. Clayton Tipalora takes it out on half forward. His kick ordinary. Goes to Josh Cheek. Clayton Tipalora comes back in again and cleans up. Gets it away to Hodson. He's put down in a tackle by Ben Rioli. Spillage. TARS kicking into forward 50. And under pressure, that's an errant kick. Out of bounds on the full. Jack Long to take that 25 metres around from the goal face, deep in the left back pocket, and the umpire says, yes, Jack, you will have to jump the fence and get your own footy. And I think I'd have the same look that Jack Long's got on his face right now. I would not be too happy at having to do that.
It's hard jumping those fences with the signs on them as well. They're quite slippery.
And in studs.
So that's an ankle killer, that one.
So Jack Long from the left back pocket, and going down at the back was Hemmings for Waratahs. He's in the ruck at the moment while Wilkins is off, and they are down the left wing convincingly. It goes inside the forward 50. Ugly kick picked up for Waratah, and that is the hands of Bullis. But now it's a shot on goal from Waratahs, and it's hit the post. So an errant handball from Bullis for Waratahs. They are under a amount of pressure here, the Waratahs defenders. And there was a shot on goal.
I think it was Paredes that had that shot, but he had two players in the corridor that he could have maybe given it off to, but hey, he hit the post. It was a good crack in the end, but he had players on.
Bailey Zobel brings the ball out of play, clears the pack. First player there, Manteet. Jacob Long pursuing the ball close to the boundary, but it goes over the boundary line underneath the scoreboard, which shows St. Mary's in that lead, 4-3-27. TARS still yet to have a shot on goal. 11 minutes gone here in this first quarter.
I'm just loving the rotations that St. Mary's are doing. Anthony Wilson's going through the midfield, then he's going up forward at the feet of the big man. It's just dangerous for the Waratahs defenders. Ryan
Smith wins the ball out of the middle, gets a handball away to Shannon Rioli. Now off to Jackson Geary, kicks towards goal. Peter McFarlane was just hovering there, could not get close enough to the footy, and another behind on the scoreboard. So 4-4-28, Waratahs yet to score.
Rakawasa tried to come out the left this time. He's put his defenders under a mountain of pressure, and O'Connor was wrapped up in a great tackle right on the 50-metre mark, and that was by Paredes. So Paredes on the paint of 50, 45-degree angle. He's looking for someone short.
He probably just doesn't have the distance in his legs.
And he's hit the man on the mark. O'Connor has just saved him there from Peter McFarlane, who was out on a lead. It's come back to the man that's just come onto the field in Manteet. He's gone into the right forward pocket and overcooked it.
Called that then into that pocket, but then stopped running. So he actually kicked it. His teammate kicked it to where he actually pointed to, but he didn't run to that spot in the end. So big man got a little bit confused then.
Boundary throw in now, deep in that right forward pocket. Smith up easily, winning the ruck contest. Belted it towards the goal square. Clayton Tipalora missed the footies. Saints socketed off the ground, and players were appealing there for a moment, thinking it was a goal, but it's hit the post.
There's actually 14 Waratahs players in the defensive 50 at the moment.
There's 4 outside the defensive 50. That's how desperate they've got at the moment. Huge pack flies after the kick-in from Waratah. They are absolutely tackling with my purpose is the St Mary's team are just doing great work to try and keep Waratah under pressure. There's now 2 green shirts on the western wing, just chopped off there by Keranua from Tars. Desperation here for Waratahs, trying to come through Cantilla.
No one to kick to.
He got a handball. There's no one within 70 metres, but a man out on the lead now. He's been able to run onto it is Hodson, and Hodson has kicked a goal from nothing. He got the foot race speed. He was absolutely a man that he really burnt them, didn't he? And he was able to get their first goal. It came from nothing.
And that can actually work for Waratahs today because of the speed that they do have. They got the speedsters, and it was a good kick in the end. Just kicked it to space, knew that Hodgson was coming, but look at the speed that he has on his opponent. Picked it up, probably could have ran in a little bit further to goal, but got the good kick in the end and kicked the goal. Well done to Waratahs because they were under enormous pressure in the defensive 50 to get that ball out.
Well done to Cantilla, really, under pressure on the western wing. And
he won the ball against three St Mary's players here on the wing below us.
So, wow, they get their first goal, Dominic, but it's St Mary's 29 to Tars 6 and 14 minutes are gone in the opening term.
Scoring has been 9 scoring shots to 1 thus far, and now out of the middle, a free kick, this time going to Waratah. Given from the umpire in the forward 50 for Waratah, so it must have been a centre square infringement. From the middle, Tars kicking forward. There he is again. Hodson couldn't take the mark. Tars the first time just able to exert a little bit of their own pressure here. That's a lovely kick. Mark dropped that there's a free kick being paid.
Downfield, it was absolutely... they're not paying it downfield.
It's coming all the way back here to the outside 50 position.
He was smashed after he got rid of the footy. That's why I thought it would have been downfield.
So the person to take the free kick here for Tars, Stephen Strubens, who's been in very, very good goal-kicking form for the Red and Whites.
Yeah, definitely within his range as well. Kicking into a slight breeze, though.
So St Mary's with 9 scoring shots before Waratah had their first. And with their first, Tars have kicked a goal. Now they're lining up for their second. Right of centre, 45-degree angle. Kicks from 50. And almost a mark taken at the back of the pack there for Tars. I think it might have been Cantilla. Dropped it through for a behind. So Tars move on to 1-1-7. 15 and a half gone in this first quarter. Trailing St Mary's 4-5-29.
St Mary's are going to go down the middle of the park. Mark there to Armitage. He gets it off to Wilson, tries to get it back, gathers a ball, palms off a player. Armitage, ugly kick off the boot, trying to find Peter McFarlane. Now he's out in front, and he has just got the kick away. He was closed down well by Bullis. They're inside their forward 50, and a shot on goal from the right pocket, and a shot on goal from Morris Rioli Jr., his second for the day, but as calm as you like, so well balanced and poised. And Rioli Jr. has just worked his magic.
He will find himself on an AFL list. Look at this. Peter McFarlane just showed his rustiness then, just couldn't get his kick away. And look at this. Lined him up and had a beautiful kick on goal to bend that one around. And the only other player that I think I've seen kick it from like that is Ross Tungatalum from that pocket. So well done, as we see Raphael Clarkey like that one as well on the bench.
How brilliant was that? And everything Morris Rioli Jr. has done so far in this quarter has been with real intent. He's been one of the ones putting on wonderful tackling pressure Up in the middle now, Tars through Wilkins, winning the ball initially, but Paredes takes it out of the middle. Long kick on the lead. McFarlane couldn't get there. Well done from the Tars defence in the form of O'Connor, but the ball back towards the goal square again, taking it Shannon Rioli. Handballs over his head. Tyler Saunders soggers it through. It's another goal on the board for the Green Machine. They move on to 6-5-41. Waratah 1-1-7-17 gone in this first quarter.
You know, that's the second time Shannon Rioli doesn't get a stat for that tap, but that's the second time he's tapped it to the advantage of his teammates. As we watch here, he knew. He didn't try and take on his opponent, knew that Saunders was there, or Morris Rioli Jr. just hand passes it over his head. And Tyler Saunders kicks one of the easiest goals of his career.
I think that's what, his assists at the moment, Shannon Rioli, but he just knew that there would be someone who's desperate in the goal square. And it didn't matter who it was, and there was two. They were lining up, weren't they? Ball up back in the middle. St Mary's 41 lead, Tars 7. Another clearance won by St Mary's. It's Morris Rioli Jr. getting out of a tackle, sidestepping one. Oh, and he might have just taken one step too many. And he's been caught with the ball 60 metres from the goal. It's going to be reversed. So there you go. Nothing going the way of Tars at the moment.
Sling tackle then.
Yeah,
that's what that was for.
You're right, Dominic. The umpire is just letting him know that it was actually the sling.
Yep.
So dangerous because his arms were pinned.
So now he's done a piercing kick into looking towards the player there who's not very happy. He put his arms up, Manteet, and said, I wanted that higher. It's been chopped off now by Waratah. They're in their back left defensive pocket. There's nothing much going down the western wing. And they've gone down towards one Tars player against 3, but they might come out of this because 2 St Mary's players have clashed. Waratah's now going down the western wing. Ball there going ugly bounce, but being picked up by Anthony Long. And it's going to be a throw. Incorrect disposal from Anthony Long. And they are 70 metres from goal, Waratah's on the western side. Free kick to Strubens. No one at home at full forward, but he goes a huge high up and under. Again, St Mary's have the numbers, and it's going to be coming out through Long. That's Anthony Long. He looks down the western wing, so they're going out the right, marked by Jack Long. He just holds it up, asking for players to come forward. The left footer decides to go into the middle of the ground. Oh, drop mark there. And a little bit of a face plant from Armitage. So now Tars with the numbers. Kick inside from Gorman. Oh, huge flag! And a huge mark from Cantilla.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. He has leapt 20 metres directly in front of goals, and his leap up the back of Benjamin Rioli. And that'll be one for the highlights reel.
I'm not quite sure if you're allowed to propel your opponent that much forward and still take the mark, but hey, we'll let that one go. Come on, Cantilla, finish it off now.
20 metres in front. Cantilla strikes it, he likes it. High fives from the players, and Waratah's kicked the second goal of the quarter. But it's still all St Mary's, 6-5-41 to Tars, 2-1-13.
He was caught
20 minutes gone.
He was caught behind here. There we go. And shoves his opponent and uses his back as a leaping board. But well done to actually make the contest in the end. And hey, if you can get away with it, why not? That's a much needed goal for Waratahs. Mind you, they needed that one.
Probably need the next one as well, would be telling, wouldn't it?
I think I might give that a crack tonight.
Just make sure you've got the same umpire watching when you try that.
Well, just say if Cantilla can do it.
Back in the middle now. The umpire just checking here, just making sure the numbers are correct. Forward, centre, backs. Tosses the ball high. Smith wings down. Tyler Saunders gathers. No movement from Waratah players in the middle there at all.
Yeah, they didn't move, you're right.
Saunders was the only player on the move.
Their ruck Hemmings didn't really.
No. So Joshua Hemmings up against Ryan Smith. Smith just gets himself in front, handballs the ball to the advantage of Tyler Saunders, and then a free kick given.
For high.
Against Smith.
He won't be happy with that.
So Hemmings with the long ball. Inside 50. Cantilla with the fly again. Ben Rioli, the back, takes the footy away. Gives it to Manteet. He goes to Jack Long. Handballs into space looking for Ben Rioli. The flying tackler couldn't stick the tackle. Rioli goes to ground. Comes back to Manteet. He is caught in a tackle. That's gone. Lost the ball over the boundary line, but the free kick was absolutely there. So Kim Cantilla in the action here in the last few minutes. Right boot kick, dangerous position, 20 metres out. Anthony Long gets a fist to it, comes to Geary. Geary handballs to the back, goes there to a teammate in Parry. Now they work their way through. Geary again with possession, the running machine. Beautiful kick to Labastida, finds him at half back. Out wide to Parnell, ball clean bowls him. Lucky he had a little bit of time. Goes now to Jacob Long on centre wing. Long with oodles of time as well. Kicks Long, looking for Strubens up high, got hands to it, couldn't take the mark. Support came from Armitage, couldn't handle it cleanly, and the ball out over the boundary line. 65 around from the St Mary's goal. Scoreboard side, the boundary throw in to take place. 22 minutes gone, 41 plays 13, St Mary's in the lead.
Hemmings in the ruck for Waratahs as Wilkins has a break. Smith wins it down, and there's 4 players around the ball, and there is going to be a ball up.
No,
there's definitely going to be a ball up.
He's saying he was looking
for
a free kick for the sling. He was trying to say that it was the same sort of tackle what he'd given away the free kick against Morris Rioli Jr., but it wasn't.
So it's going to be a ball up, 65 metres out, and Smith wins it down. He's dominating the ruck at the moment. Waratah don't have too many answers at the moment for the tall Saints player, and they've
Labastida, yep.
A free kick, so very ill-disciplined. He goes in with a short, sharp kick, and that's the second time they've tried to go for a piercing, kick it in low, and it's not going to work for Waratah as the ball has been beaten over the line by Simpson, and we are going to have a ball up 55 metres out from the left goalpost in favour of the Saints.
Yeah, it's probably the better option to go long with Calder, one out in the goal square.
Boundary throw in, Smith just takes it out of the ruck, goes straight to Geary. Geary had to release by hand. Labastida up high, taking the footy. Hodson shoved off it. Ball comes to Jacob Long. Got a quick kick away into the left forward pocket. After it there was Calder. Couldn't get to it before the boundary line. Boundary wins. Another boundary throw in to take place. 15 metres around from the goal face in the left forward pocket.
I'd like to know the stats of how many times Geary has actually received it off Smith so far in this first quarter. As a good rover, he's right there at the feet of his ruckman every single time.
We'll have a look here, though. It's Hemmings. It's kicked it off the ground after it went over the back of Smith, going towards the scoreboard, and that is the siren to end the first quarter. And it is St Mary's who are dominating Waratahs at the moment. It's Saints 6-5-41 to the Tars 2-1-13.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, Fitness from treadmills to benches. Boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport Concept Store. Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
So here's everything you need to know about the Great Air Race in 30 seconds or less. 100 years ago, there was a race from London to Darwin by aeroplane. And mates, this was only 20 years after the first aeroplane flew just 37 metres. The winning plane, a Vickers Vimy, was flown by Australian brothers Ross and Keith Smith and their mechanics Wally Shires and Jim Bennett. This was the birth of international air travel, and they landed in Parap. There's a park there now. Some people reckon their flight was almost as significant as the Apollo missions 50 years later. Some of the places they landed had never even seen an aeroplane before. This year, a guy called Michael Smith, who isn't related to the other Smiths, is retracing the exact flight 100 years on. The Great Air Race. What a great territory story. Yeah, I know, it was longer than 30 seconds. There's just too much to fit in.
Starting in the middle, mate. Way you go out there. He actually had gone to the bench. So he's back out into the middle. And full credit, I've got to say, it is hot out there, and we've seen Waratahs go into the cool room. But Iggy Vallejo just played Div 1. Absolutely hot condition is the runner out there. And John Ansters also played Div 1 and is the water carrier out there.
And that's the voice of Natasha Medbury. I'm Shannon Byrne, and we're joined in commentary by Dominic McCormack. And it is St Mary's 41 leading Waratah 13 as Dominic McCormack gets us underway for the second quarter.
Wilkins up against Smith. Smith taps it to the back, straight to Paredes. Has a bounce. Kick inside 50. Call to the target. Punched away from him by Rakawasa. Wilson gathers. Has a shot on goal. Bounces just inside the boundary line. So it'll be a boundary throw-in. 3 or 4 metres to the right. Right forward pocket. I think most Tars players were expecting, perhaps hoping, that was out of bounds on the full, but no. Boundary throw-in to take place here. Calder in ruck up against Wilkins. Wilkins did beautifully. Got that down, goes to Matthew Blake, out on the left boot. That's a good piece of play by Tars. Out to Joel Stevens. Marks that a couple of metres inside the boundary. 55 away from the Saints goal. Kick is poor. Turns over immediately at right half forward with Paredes taking the mark.
And he goes inside the forward 50, and the man at front, Calder, couldn't get it. Now Tars have the numbers, and they're in the right forward pocket. And a tackle in the right forward pocket. We'll see a ball up. And sometimes at stages, those Saints look like they've got more people out there.
Yeah,
they're certainly getting better numbers around the ball.
They've definitely got more run in their legs at the moment.
So ball up 40 metres around on the right forward pocket. Smith wins the tap. but it's going to be Waratahs who take it outside their defensive 50. Long kick down to Kerenua. Kerenua is asking if he's being held. Might have had a case, but it's been kicked off the ground, and it was kicked forward by Gardner, and it's going to be thrown in. Just made it inside the boundary, and that is 60 metres around from the Waratahs post.
Probably a win for them as well, that ball going out of bounds, because the numbers were there for St Mary's. So let's see what they can do here.
Wilkins for Tars up against Smith. A very ugly kick, and it didn't go to any of the ruckmen, so they'll have to do that again.
No, that's a free kick straight away here. The wrong person's gone in the ruck contest.
Oh, to be fair, it fell in their lap. It was an ugly throw.
You've got to get out the way.
I know, but anyway, it's now St Mary's. It's not all going... It's just everything's going wrong for Tars at the moment. The ball was thrown ugly, and it was just came in the lap of a player. But now it's St Mary's. Paredes has it, goes out to the right, finds an unmarked Saints player. He chips it over, and it's dropped, just taken there by Benjamin Rioli wearing the headgear. He's now lost the ball, but it's not out of danger just yet. Oh, beautiful work there from Shannon Rioli. Had 3 Tar players on him, and then a kick forward, and that was by Larson. And that has been kicked out on the full.
And again, Shannon Rioli's 1%ers.
I know.
So clever.
Those
1 on 3, did it beautifully.
The long kick now from Tars out towards half forward. Half back, I should say.
That's a beautiful mark.
For Tars, and nice mark from Kim Cantilla. Been in the action in this game.
That's got to be a free kick against the Waterboy there. The Waterboy just did not get out the way. He was there for an eternity.
He knows it too. Look at see the look on the face. He did that deliberately then, which is a disgrace. The Morris Rioli Jr. with the beautiful pass to Jackson Geary. Geary up to McFarlane. And McFarlane, classic Peter McFarlane, Natasha Medbury, two bites at the footy. The first little tap down and the diving mark forward. So McFarlane on the end of a left footer here from Jackson Geary. Finds himself kicking on goal. 40-degree angle, left of centre. Kicking to the Michael Long centre end. And he'll kick from about 45 metres. Kick on its way and just veered at the last moment, but a mark taken by Calder.
He didn't have the distance in his leg, but that's a pass. Look, as he's clapping his hands and someone took the mark.
He'll claim it. That's a beautiful pass, Peter McFarlane. Calder now. He's taken that mark to the right, so he's going to have a crack here with the left foot banana. Or the left foot snap, I should say. Off he goes. No one ran at him. He did that easily. Goal on the board for Calder. That's his first of the afternoon. St Mary's kicked the first of the second quarter, and they moved to 7-5, 47. Waratahs 2-1, 13.
That goal was caused through the water runner for Waratahs. They had the ball out on the wing and looked like they were away. And he's turned it over, so he's gone to the other side of the oval now. Banished
naughty
him to
corner.
the other side.
The naughty corner.
Well, from a throw-in of the ruck, and it was gone against them. They did then try and turn it over here in front of us, and then the water boy has just mucked that up.
And
so.
a good kick again. Jackson Geary. You love to mark the ball off his kicks. Beautiful kick at goal of the ball. And as Dominic said, Peter McFarlane is known for taking marks, hundreds of marks like that during his career.
Well, just down on the boundary too, Armitage for Saints, boot off, just getting some attention to the left foot. We'll keep an eye across that. Up in the middle, it's one out through St Mary's. Saunders dropped the ball. And they've just played on, so now it's the opportunity. Diving mark effort there from Cantilla. He's not able to trap it. Still Tars have the numbers. Paddled forward, picked up in the end by Hodson.
That's a free kick,
And that's a free kick going to Hodson.
He's exciting, isn't he, Hodson?
I like him.
Hodson from Tars. In the middle of the wing. Ugly kick looking for Gorman. Gorman, though, just not able to see that ball over. He was closed down by Jack Long, who was bearing down on him front on.
I wouldn't have picked that ball up either, by the way Jack was running.
Rightly so, stopped, and the ball dribbled over the boundary.
That was right in front of us. We could see Jack Long's face.
Lined him up.
The determination he had.
Pick it up and you're all mine. So he did it, and now there's a ball in 60 metres from Waratah's goal.
Boundary throw in, won by Ryan Smith easily. Got the handball off to Cheek. He loses it with an indiscriminate handball. Kicked away there by Shaper. No mark taken. Gorman, here he is. He's got his moment. Snap on goal. Tried to roll it in, and it just didn't bend enough for him. Goes through for a behind in the game, William Gorman. So Tars 2-2-14, trailing Saints 7-5-47. Ben Rioli just runs away, starts off with a handball to Manteet. He fakes the handball and then goes long across, and Jackson Geary just outside defensive 50. His kick up towards Manteet, who's certainly covering some ground himself this afternoon. That's an ordinary kick. Geez, there's been some poor turnovers by Saints in the last few moments. Anthony Villager would not be happy. The long kick down the line now from Tars. No mark taken. Henry Labastida at the back of the pack gathers. Looks to steady. Pops the footy up for Davies, and he'll take that mark at centre-half back.
And switch the play here.
And they've got the numbers out on the left. Ball just bounces nicely into the lap. And a kick forward down to Peter McFarlane. And when they're on the lead, any of the forwards for Saints, they've definitely got a good step. So McFarlane goes to the right forward pocket, looking for Cowder. Ball down on the ground. Kick on goal, out of nothing, and he's just missed to the left. Was Paredes. He had two players actually hanging off him.
Oh, he's
One
so
had
strong.
a jumper and...
He's so strong through his hips and his legs. He manages to shrug away opponents at ease.
So with that behind, Waratahs are now trailed by 38 points.
Rakawasa brings the ball back into play, receives the handball. I'm not sure he was expecting that, but he took it and took it well. Runs his full measure, kicks long down the centre wing. Ball now at half forward. Chasing after it there is Schmidt. Tyson Schmidt gathers. Wheels around, spots up a teammate. That's good play. Mark taken by Joel Stevens. He was off Joel Stevens. Given the benefit of the doubt. Kick is poor. Cut off by Labastida. Should have marked and didn't. Wrestles forward strongly on the ground. The ball comes out here to Parry. Parry's kick is poor. Luckily for him, it goes to Jacob Long. Picked up here by Tars. A handball comes out. Cheek pinches it away. And his kick is poor. Tars now. The little dinky kick through the middle of the ground. Long kick now. Standing underneath it is the player there in Adam Parry. He takes the mark, wheels it out wide, and finds Jackson Geary in the right back pocket.
Geary, casual as you like, found his opponent in Larson. He dropped the mark but had plenty of time. Was looking for the run of Geary, but it's Jacob Long that's got under the ball. Gave it back to Geary. The whistle's going here, and they want Jacob Long to take it back directly underneath the scoreboard side. So
they're doing well. Waratahs actually hold out St Mary's at the moment for about the last five minutes here.
He just chips it forward and finds Calder. Smith for St Mary's is wanting it inside the forward 50. He goes short to Saunders, then he goes down to at the back Peter McFarlane, but running onto it. And another easy goal from St Mary's was Wilson, and Wilson has picked up his second goal of the game, and they are lining up in their forward line there for St Mary's. So 9 minutes gone, Saints 8-6-54 to Tars 2-2-14.
Just beautiful front and centre work. You see Saunders with the long kick in. Peter McFarlane does the right thing, tries to take his two-tap mark, but hits it down, and the man of the moment, Anthony Wilson, with his speed, kicks a goal. His second goal, one in the first, one in the second.
Just read it beautifully, didn't he? And well done, Tyler Saunders. Didn't actually try to pinpoint a pass then. Kicked it to the contest. They've got two good tall players down there. Kicked it to the contest. No mark, but then Anthony Wilson on the spot.
And moving, not standing there flat-footed, front and centre. Running at full pace.
Ruck contest now. Smith wins it down. Goes here to a teammate in David Armitage. Had a little sideways kick, then goes in and lays the tackle. Big bump there on Tipalora. Handball comes out to Morris Rioli Jr. Breaks away from the tackle beautifully. Goes to the contest, but this time Rakawasa did beautifully to take the mark. And 50? That was play on advantage, wasn't it?
Yes.
They've played on advantage, and then they've stopped. Confusion here. The umpire's got his hands up in the air. Surely he's saying play on here.
Rakawasa's had a good second quarter.
Rakawasa's done quite okay. His long kick out towards a teammate there in Zobel. Put him under pressure. Josh Cheek in the game. Tried to take possession. Tackled without the footy. Called by the umpire. Just undisciplined footy there by Tars.
Right call there. Zobel just didn't need to do that. He'd done all the work to get Cheek to the boundary line, and then just in the...
So Josh Cheek here. The Darren Ewing pocket, the left footer. Cheek's a left footer himself, so he's right on the paint of 50 and the boundary. Low trajectory drop punt towards the goal square. Almost the mark taken. The free kick paid. Free kick paid to Calder. I thought Calder was at the back, but the hold has been called on Calder. So Jackson Calder, right of centre, 15 metres out.
He's been given a great angle here. I thought it was a little bit on a tighter angle, but...
Absolutely, 40-degree angle. I thought he should have been over near the boundary, Tash.
Yeah, so do I. He's...
Well, Calder, he's clearly participated in Movember.
Well, you hope so for some of them.
Kick on the way, and he has kicked a goal. So Jackson Calder has now kicked his second in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, and St Mary's move here to 9,660. Waratah 2,214, 11 and a half gone.
So we watch on replay, just the kick in. Geez, there's not much in that. Not much at all, but look at the angle. Look where he's taken that ball, and then he's come just at the top of the square nearly on a 40 to 45-degree angle. Very lucky there, but St Mary's still in the lead.
Well, Shannon, you called the percentage factor, didn't you? They were in 4th position on percentage. I mean, they're making a charge here.
This is going to be a big booster if they can keep on this. We did see a huge turnaround last night from the Darwin Buffaloes coming back and snatching a 4-point win over Palmerston. Hemmings up against Smith. Smith tapped it forward, went to the ground. He felt like he was being held, and he was, Armitage. So he is going to get a kick. Smith, the ruckman for the St Mary's side, very slow to his feet. A huge up and under from the left foot, and a great mark in front. Calder was the man, and he had his eyes on it, but there's been a turnover for Waratahs. Kerenua has it in the right back pocket. He just chips it forward, a little kick over to Waratah. He's on their defensive 50 on the western wing or the grandstand side.
Needs to come up the wing here.
He's just going to go for a long hope and pray, and there is 2 players on 1. So Waratah's tough ass there for Schmid, and the ball goes out directly in front of Waratah's dugout. So that allows for a couple of interchange.
They're flat. Waratahs are that flat. Hands on hips already. We're only 13 minutes into the second quarter. They just have no leg run.
Boundary throw in. Ryan Smith works really hard to get in front in the ruck contest. Couldn't quite take the footy away, but taking it away beautifully there was Henry Kerenua. Kick up inside 50. No mark taken. There was to be a free kick. I thought the umpire didn't pay it, but played advantage. Paredes takes the footy. Nice kick from him to Larson. Morris Rioli Jr. in all sorts of space. Oh, gee, I know there's going to be a father-son participate here somewhere, but Alistair Clarkson and Graham Wright, if you're listening, here's a young man you've got to keep an eye on. Inside 50 now. Shannon Rioli gathers, just tries to stride through a tackle, can't quite do it, gets the footy away. Handball comes to Calder, feigns one way, then the other. Great handball to Wilson from 3 metres out, the underground kick, and he kicks a goal, and that's his 3rd.
He faked to kick it a snap, and then he ended up kicking it between the 2 Waratahs players that were jumping high in the air to try and smother it. So smart play, but Shannon Rioli, just the strength through his hips to break the tackle and then still give the footy away. I thought he was unlucky not to get a free kick for below the knees, but the hand pass at top. Calder sees Wilson, and here he goes. Just you can see the Waratahs player just thinking, oh, should have stayed on the ground for that one. But it's looking too easy, and it's just the leg run of St Mary's and getting the numbers at the ball that is really highlighting out here at the moment.
So Wilkins, after a rest on the bench for Tars, back in the middle. He's needed in the ruck for Waratah, but it's going to be a long afternoon. He's up against Smith from St Mary's, who's dominating at the moment. The ball was a little to the favour of St Mary's, but it's going to be Waratahs that are going to be able to clear it out. A couple of handballs kicked forward by their ruckman Wilkins, and a little clever tap over the back from Tipalura. And it's St Mary's, though, that are going to get the ball through Labastida out to the right, and it nearly closed down. Tipalura was probably a great effort there because it was a wayward kick in the end from Armitage. And so now Tars directly underneath the scoreboard, trying to get inside their forward 50 for some time with purpose. Short kick, and that finds Simpson. Simpson gets it off, and from the left forward pocket, if you don't mind, and it was a shot on goal. It had the distance, and it looked like it was on target from Strubens.
Looked good.
And even he's put his hands to his head, as has all 3 of us in the commentary box.
Nothing's working for Waratahs that we've spoken about. It's just not with them today.
That was a beautiful kick. I thought that was going through for sure. Saints now's trying to bring it through half back here. Mark taken by Manteet after delivering by Parnell. Manteet just going backwards here. So good work from Waratah just to hold Saints up here. Ball's gone to Jack Long. He's delivered it in beautifully here to Liam Daly, making him work hard. Liam Daly, the up and under to Labastida. Charging in was Larson. Left the ball behind. Labastida tapped it backwards to Cheek. Cheek going in and putting on the Shepherd was beautiful work. The running machine, Geary, here he goes. He's going to get caught though. He got caught in the tackle. Well done. Waratah it is. Well done, James Waratah. There's a bit of a blue on at centre wing. I'll stick with the footy. So well done chasing down Jackson Geary. Just tried to do a little bit too much there, Jackson Geary. So Waratah from centre wing. Kicks long. Davies to spoil. Ball comes to the back of the pack. Over the footy, Ben Rioli can't quite keep it in. And then over the boundary.
Wow, that was a very unhappy Cheeks up against Arundel. And Cheeks went on with it, so I'm not sure if he's going to have something. He was very unhappy. Both have got jumpers that are very stretched and nearly ripped at the front, but Cheek is a very unhappy man. I'm not sure if there might be something in that.
Good work, Paredes.
But Paredes will stay with the ball because it is going to go to Jack Long. Jack Long comes out to the left, finds Cadell. He goes it round.
That man.
And Calder, sorry. Calder gets it over to Wilson, left forward pocket, dribbles it in, dribbles and dribbles the wrong side of the post.
Too fancy, just a little bit too fancy. Then if it went through, it would have been absolutely brilliant. But I thought he had a little bit more time, and with his speed, probably could have.
There's no one inside the goal area, so good effort there. But it's St Mary's 67 leading Tars 15. 17 minutes gone, second quarter.
Calder takes a beautiful mark. Now goes to McFarlane on the lead, and the one grabber from Peter McFarlane stuck fast then. Well, Calder did beautifully to take the mark on the kick out, and then what I've loved about his game is just the unselfish footy. Just kicked it in hard and fast. McFarlane taking the mark in front, 40 metres from goal. So an opportunity here, Peter McFarlane, to kick his first for the afternoon. Strides in, kick on its way, and he has pushed that to the left. Another point on the scoreboard, 10-8-68. Waratah 2-3-15, 18 gone in this second quarter.
Just keeping an eye out as well on that St Mary's bench. Cheek, who came off after a bit of a scuffle, has gone straight into the cool room. So
the umpire's given away 50. So Ben Rioli didn't go back far enough.
He had to be, around the goal square. So
yeah, we were getting warned about that last week.
What is Ben Rioli even doing in the forward line at the moment?
Oh, they're just rotating their players everywhere.
Yeah.
He's the only player that I've seen come off, and everyone else is gasping for air, and he's still smiling, talking to everyone, hugging everyone.
So Bullis at the 50-metre defensive mark after he was taken out from the goal square, and it is now going to be a turnover. They tried to find Wilkins, but Jacob Long for St Mary's had a bounce and has hit up Peter McFarlane, 60 metres from goal. And talking about that man, that's why he's in the forward line.
And he loves a goal.
Oh,
and he's going to pass it off
to Morris Rioli Jr. And Morris will stroll in. And Morris Rioli Jr. has picked up his third goal. And he has now put St Mary's further in front, 11-8-74 to Tars 2-3-15. 20 minutes gone in the second quarter.
Oh, unselfish play, Ben Rioli. Peter McFarlane sees Rioli all by himself. We're asking why is he up in the forward line. When he does go up there, he loves kicking a goal. Usually gets a goal or two, but passes it off to his, I think that's his cousin. And straight through the goals, Morris Rioli Jr. I know you mentioned about the recruiters for Hawthorn, but I think he'd look better in black and white, to be honest. So, he's some magic, doesn't he?
I don't think either club's going to get a look in. It's either going to be Richmond. It's going to be Richmond or Fremantle.
Oh, he's been at Richmond quite a lot this year, so I think they're in the box seat.
And Fremantle will get a go as well from the South Fremantle connection, apparently. Up in the ruck contest, Leroy Larson bats it down to Geary. He couldn't quite grab hold of it. Tars worked their way out really well. Mincook, a terrific kick out there to Angus Hodson. Passes it back, caught. Is he going to give that drop in the ball? That was a handball, umpire.
Wrong side there.
It was blindsided the umpire, and he's given the call. So the free kick has gone here to Davies, now called on. Little handball. Goes here to Manteet, runs one way, then the other, stuck at half back. That's a poor kick. Didn't go to the option in the clear. Turns it over here to Henry Karanua. Kicks long down towards the goal face. Strubens was clearly held. against Anthony Long. Play on advantage, and Gorman runs into the open goal. Tars kicked their third goal for the match. 3-3, 21. Trailing St Mary's 11-8, 74, 21 gone in this second quarter.
He's looked threatening down there, William Gorman, so he's in the right spot to take the advantage. As we see Josh Cheek come back out. I think he had a few scratches on his chest, to be honest, from the jumper pulling. But, yeah.
Well, if he needed to cool down at least, he did have his aircon.
On the replay, so definitely the jumper holding there against Anthony Long. So the free kick was there and Gorman played the advantage to make sure of the goal. So Waratah's only with their third goal, St Mary's with 11, still a long way behind.
So 53-point lead here for the Saints. Siren not too far away. Hemmings goes up in the ruck and he goes up against St Mary's, who've changed their ruck as well. It was Larson who's been given a free kick, and Hemmings was boxing out the wrong way, so it is now gone straight into the centre half forward. Dropped by McFarlane, little tip over. Wilson tips it forward. Gearley picks it up, goes to St Mary's, and another goal, easy as you like for Saunders. And it was like aerial ping pong there. And they're going to just check if it wasn't touched.
The Waratahs play, you can't, without a review system, you've got to play the goal, the attacking team. So his second goal, Saunders, just in the right place at the right time, and you're right, the aerial ping pong. Yeah, they just do the 1%ers for each other, the teamwork. Anthony Wilson, and then the hand pass off from Jackson Geary and Tyler Saunders. I thought he'd actually buggered it up with his kick because it didn't go far off the ground, but I think in the AFL, aren't they going to introduce that you can actually have three, the attacking team, they're looking at saying that the attacking team can have 3 reviews, that if you think it was touch, you can actually ask for it now. It's actually going through the board right now to be introduced in the next season, which is going to slow down the game even more, I think.
Leroy Larson from the ruck contest got it straight down the throat of Jackson Geary. Couldn't handle. Tars take it out of the middle, and a mark taken by Henry Kerenua. I'll tell you what, Natasha, when they've gone forward quickly, either by foot or with their run, Tars have actually looked quite good.
With Kim Cantilla, Henry Kerenua down there, and also Hodgson, just with their speed, with the openness, when they did move it forward into that space, they do look dangerous, and they catch the defenders, the St Mary's defenders out.
So Henry Kerenua here, right of centre. The classic 45-degree angle, crosses 50, go with the left boot here. Kick on its way. He starts at left and brings it in beautifully. Anthony Long just had to watch it go over his head there. So Waratah, 4-3-27. Goal for goal here at the moment. St Mary's 12-8-80, 23 and a half gone in this second quarter.
Just on replay, Kerenua looking dangerous so far in the second quarter. Definitely in the right spot. We just need a lot more goals. And I guess they're really struggling from getting it out of the centre clearance. That's where they're struggling the most in this game. And just the missing the Abe Anchors and Brody Carroll, you can really see that's a big key players missing. The grunt of their engine room. Abe Anchors is just an absolutely brilliant player, just runs all day.
So Hemmings up against Smith. He's again dropped to the ground. The Saints ruckman picks himself up, kick forward by Wilson. Leading the race for St Mary's over on the right is Jacob Long, as the sun just comes into full effect here for the players. And it is heating up for St Mary's. They're inside their forward 50, and there's going to be a big tackle laid. Play on, it's just dribbled out the back. About 10 players around the ball, 40 metres from the Saints goal. And there's going to be a throw out of that pack, and it will go to the advantage of Waratahs. So the left back pocket, and Waratahs are going to be able to get out defensively easy because it's a free kick, and it's going to go down the left wing, and Zobel has kicked it down towards Hemmings. Hemmings just kicked it into a player. It's come back to his lap. He's being held. A quick kick down the left wing.
This is where they are dangerous.
Oh, big clash there of bodies. Now it's Strubens who's got the pace, but unfortunately the ball's going to beat him over the boundary, and it's going to be 60 metres around from the Waratahs goal.
That was courage by Anthony Long there, but he's a bit ginger after that contest.
Yes, I just hope he hasn't taken a direct hit to his knee.
Well, the siren is going to help because he can now have a half-time break. But it was all St Mary's, and they have had a big second quarter again. For Waratahs, they were able to manage to kick 2 goals, but it's Saints 12-8-80 leading Waratahs 4-3-27.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be 0.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
kilonewton centrifugal force, infrared remote control.
How does he do it?
24.5 kilowatt diesel motor.
He doesn't just know how to operate every piece of Kennard's high gear we get in, but also its service details, its safety checks. I don't know.
It's as if he can hypnotise each piece.
Give me 2 passes with sauce. Coffee white with 1, bun with icing. No, pink icing.
Yep, no worries, Terry.
Kennard's make your job easy.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
Looking for the best and brightest to join your team? At Quality People, we specialise in finding quality, hard-to-get professionals, and we have an office right here in Darwin. Kick your recruitment goals with Quality People. qualitypeople.com.au.
Now that's quality.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
On Territory roads, anything can happen, so you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble.
So here's everything you need to know about the Great Air Race in 30 seconds or less. 100 years ago, there was a race from London to Darwin by aeroplane. And mates, this was only 20 years after the first aeroplane flew just 37 metres. The winning plane, a Vickers Vimy, was flown by Australian brothers Ross and Keith Smith and their mechanics Wally Shires and Jim Bennett. This was the birth of international air travel, and they landed in Parap, There's a park there now. Some people reckon their flight was almost as significant as the Apollo missions 50 years later. Some of the places they landed had never even seen an aeroplane before. This year, a guy called Michael Smith, who isn't related to the other Smiths, is retracing the exact flight 100 years on. The Great Air Race. What a great territory story. Yeah, I know, it was longer than 30 seconds. There's just too much to fit in.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
You go home and get your scannies, I'll go home and get my panties, and away we'll go. Oh, shuffle up the buffalo, shuffle up the buffalo. Oh.
Wedding or birthdays coming up? Maybe a get-together with friends and family. Waratah Clubhouse at Gardens Oval is the perfect venue for your next community function. Celebrating the home to one of Darwin's iconic football clubs, Waratah Clubhouse.
Students from Mindarie School in Central Australia and NIO Community Daly River travel to Darwin to participate in the Michael Long Learning Leadership Centre Employment Pathways program. Here's a rundown of what they got up to.
We spent the afternoon learning from rangers who are leaders in our community who look after our country. On our second day, we explored employment pathway at CDU.
At CDU, we learned about careers in health and learned new skills on how to care for sick patients.
On Thursday, we will be participating in work experience at AFLNT. Today, we prepared for this by writing a CV and cover letters. We experienced an interview and had to explain why we wanted the job.
We got up so early today to go to Northforce. We did fitness training, learned about jobs in Northforce, and got to view lots of equipment.
In the afternoon, we visited Aboriginal broadcasting. Some of us got to go on radio, others made TV commercials.
Today we got to work at the AFLNTs. The choices were reception, media, maintenance and game development. And one group had the chance to work with Karen Sheldon Catering.
We are learning about tourism and hospitality at school. This morning we saw all the jobs available in a hotel and visited Crocker Series Cove,
The crocodiles were awesome and they were heaps of people with cool jobs here too.
The thing I liked most about this week was everything.
Teaching other kids.
The crocodile is called catering.
Game development, because we went to Waratah and teach the kids how to play footy.
Training.
I like playing games with the kids and teaching them things.
Going to Norfolk and looking at their cool equipments.
For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
Mary's and Southern Districts on this oval.
Yeah.
So it's just good that they're rotating it through. And the good factor as well is that we got lights on the second oval here, and they're looking at putting lights on the second oval at Palmerston. So there's going to be more night games.
So that is the siren to get us ready for the second half action. And with that, Shannon Byrne in commentary, joined by Dominic McCormack and Natasha Medbury, talking about the warm afternoon here. It started at 2:30. We are 3:43 local time. And you have to spare a thought as well for the umpires. And at a 2:30 game in the Men's Premier League, they always put an extra central umpire on as well, because it is very, very hot and they're running around and their decision making has to be at the best as well. Well, we're about to get underway in the second half action. It's St Mary's 80 leading Waratah's 27. Dominic McCormack with the first bounce.
Jordan Wilkins lining up in ruck for Waratah up against Ryan Smith. Ball tossed high in the air. Bit of a break even, but David Armitage for St Mary's comes away with it. Lovely kick from him up through forward 50. Off hands, Anthony Wilson gathers 60 from goal. Wheels around, kicks up towards Calder. Knocked away from him by Rekiwasa. Cheek after it. Good shepherd there from Geary. Cheek gets a kick away towards goal. Will it bounce through? It will! What a goal from Josh Cheek. He had to hold off his opponent. Great strength. Tumbled it towards goal. Calder let it go. What a way to start the third quarter.
26 seconds gone and Cheek just strong through the legs. Another player of St Mary's that can just shove off tacklers and gets a pretty good goal in the end. You've seen him had a scruffle in the second quarter, but he's back out there and he showcased why he's playing in the forward line. And good work to Calder as well. The big man could have picked that up and said, well, I wasn't quite sure which way the ball was going to bounce through the behind, but he let it go through.
But I mean, too, Zobel was hanging off Cheek. Like, he had a big, fair chunk of his jumper. He had one leg. Yeah. And he was able to dribble it along the ground for a good 20 metres and it bounced the right way. So back in the middle, Smith wins it easily. And a great pick up there for St Mary's from Paredes. Morris Rioli Jr. trying to get the ball over, but it is now going to be coming out for Waratahs inside their forward 50, straight down the throat of Strubens. And that was a great pickup. And it was Milcook who was able to dash out of the centre square and deliver a beautiful ball to full forward. And Strubens,
he hasn't had much good delivery in there, Strubens, but he is a good full forward and is good at kicking goals.
He'll need to kick this one from 40 metres, slight angle, rocks back, got the distance, but he doesn't have the accuracy and it just goes to the left. So they get another behind Waratah, but it's still St Mary's 8-6-28. Waratah, 2 minutes gone.
Jack Long takes off from fullback. Lovely kick. Target out there is the run of Shannon Rioli. Picks it up on centre wing. Little chip goes to Ben Rioli. Takes the mark. Handballs off to Geary. Saints through half forward already. Geary, lovely little kick. Calder in the goal square. That was just champagne football.
Well done. Jackson Geary as well. Lowered the eyes and hit his big full forward, didn't he? He could have had a ping at that. Would have been, you know, no qualms about him having a go at that goal. He is a noted goal kicker, but pass it to the big full forward, and Calder already has 2 goals.
Gee, and look at the players have gone to Jackson Geary, gone to Shannon Rioli. Calder lines up, pops through the goal. They'll all go to him now for doing the hard work and getting back into the goal square and taking the mark. But just a point, Mincook delivered a beautiful pass to Strubens 30 seconds ago. One player from TARS went to him and said, well done. One. I think that shows you where the mental attitude is at between both teams.
That's a really good pickup, Dominic. Really, really good.
Well, that should be on the highlights reel as well. How do you kick from post to post? It was 5 disposals from Saints. There was 4 kicks and 1 handball in what was a well-planned and well-executed from the kick-in right through to a kick at the goal square. That was just magnificent to watch. Saints 14-8-92, leading Waratah 4-4-28. 3 minutes gone in the third quarter. Wilkins goes high with Smith. Geary on the bottom. Now it comes out to the player in Stevens. He gets a hurried kick forward. Picked up nicely from Waratah. And it was Karen Newer who was trying to find Hodgson. But it is now a bit of a mix-up between Saints player. Karen Newer trying to hassle the St Mary's defenders, but they're going to be able to come down the western wing. And Smith was 2-on-1. Lovely tap back by the captain, Shannon Rioli. Dancing around with the ball is Larson. He kicks it inboard, still inside the middle. And a kick forward from Manteed and finds, and dropped by Calder, but it's going to be head high. He's been chopped, and they're going to bring it back. So there's going to be a chop of the arms there from...
Paredes is pleading with the umpire. Why wasn't it play on?
Please.
Wants to get his name on the scorer sheet.
Rakawasa was caught behind Calder, and he has chopped the arms as Calder had his hands outstretched. So he's going to be directly in front.
Well worked by Leroy Larson here. Didn't have much on forward, so he just looked inboard and gave a beautiful kick to his teammate in Manteed.
They have a lot of time on the ball, it seems, St Mary's at the moment. And they're going to look to extend this 10-goal lead they have in the third quarter. Calder hits it from 45 metres directly in front, and he likes it. Didn't even wait for it to head over the goal umpire's hat. He was high-fiving his teammates, and that is his fourth for the afternoon. And Saints 98 lead Tars 28, 5.5 minutes gone, third quarter.
And just see the composure of Leroy Larson. Just looks around, hits the option of Manteed, who quickly plays on, kicks it into Calder, who had a bit of a break on his opponent. Took it at full stretch as well. Just see the... Oh, geez, I don't think there was much chopping in the arms there. Maybe a little bit in the back, but... Not much in that, but he kicked his fourth goal.
As you say, great play by Leroy Larson, and then the pass on the left boot, the opposite foot to what he'd normally kick with.
It's good to see him back out there running around, Leroy Larson.
Oh, beautiful play by Ryan Smith from the ruck contest, finds Geary. Geary a little bit hemmed in there, had the handball backwards to no one in particular. Anthony Wilson made it look very nice. Goes back by hand to Ryan Smith, just charges through, soccers it through magnificently through the gap. They've opened up space here. Kick away, however, from Tars. The up and under from O'Connor, marked, unfortunately for him, by Jacob Long. Jacob Long pumps it back inside 50. Calder again, the target, got two hands to it. Anthony Wilson almost swept upon it. Paredes gets a handball away. The up and under comes from Armitage. Mark taken, Calder out of bounds on the full. So a free kick will go here to Tars in the form of Bailey Zobel.
And they got out of danger there because Shannon Rioli was standing in the goal square on his own. And now Tars outside their defensive 50, come down the left. Kintilla was the man and the target, but it's only going as far as St Mary's, and there's going to be a jumper pull on Jacob Long.
They just can't take a trick, Waratahs. This is becoming a bit like a training drill for St Mary's.
So Jacob Long doesn't wait to line up on the mark. He goes a short kick in, trying to find, and he does, Paredes with a shot on goal. And it just goes to the right. He had a lot more time there, Paredes.
Unlike him, that's his second shot on goal he's missed. He usually nails those ones.
So St Mary's 99, Waratah 28, 7 minutes gone, third quarter.
Rakawasa to bring the ball back into play here for Tars. Goes off on a bit of a run. Needs to be careful. Manages to step around Shannon Rioli. How far did he run there? Handballs and a teammate into trouble. He's busted a shoulder here. There's a dislocation happened. Paredes now close to goal. Can he get this one? Snaps from 5 metres, gets a shove in the back, and he's kicked his goal, has Paredes. Right from the moment Rakawasa took off there, Tars were in trouble, Tash.
Yeah, he just had nothing on, and geez, he ran his full measure plus a bit, I think. And in the end, Shannon Rioli, hand pass to Calder, hand pass to Nathan Paredes, dances around Zobel and kicks a goal, the much-needed goal that he wanted. As a Waratahs player, you're right, I reckon
it is... dislocated left shoulder here.
Dislocated.
Yep, Jordan Gardner. He's very uncomfortable and, gee...
Oh, that hurts.
Very, very much so.
So their day is just getting worse here, the Waratahs.
So they're going to be a man down because 8 minutes in the third quarter and Gardner off with a shoulder injury.
It might just be a stinger.
Can't speculate too much from here, but it does not look good. Back in the middle, ball doesn't go too far. It's tapped down by the Saints ruckman that is in there at the moment filling in, and that was Parry. Ball up back directly in the middle again, running out and trying to bust through was Saunders. Now it's going to come through the hands for Waratahs. Beautiful 1-2 and picked up by Hodgson. He goes into the right forward pocket looking for Tipalura. Tipalura paddles it forward, picks it up with a great tackle put on him. Still told to play on the right forward pocket for Waratah, but it's going to be St Mary's who are going to turn the ball over in the last line of defence. And a lovely give and go from Waratahs, and they're going to get outside St Mary's. They're going to get outside their defensive 50, and they're going to go straight down the middle towards Wilson, and an ugly kick means it's another turnover. Now it's to Waratah, and they are going to go back up to the top of their centre square.
Ball coming out now for St Mary's through Liam Daly. Goes to Parnell. That's a much better kick. Finds Josh Cheek in the middle of the ground. Wheels around onto his trusty left foot. Long kick now, looking for Calder. Body on body, got two hands to it. Rakiwasa did really well. Goes to the back. Picks up the footy.
Again, he's got nothing to kick
Calder
to the side.
chasing him, putting the pressure on. And he's been called for running too far. He's got him, and he's mouthed off and given away 50. So Calder will line up from the goal line for his 5th.
Jeez, I thought he ran further the last time he had the ball in his hands. He went back and forward a couple of times, but I doubt that that's 15 metres in all of that added up. I'm not quite sure where the umpire got his markings from in that one, but that's a goal. 5 goals to Calder. You'll take it. You wouldn't argue with the umpire if you're getting the free kick, that's for sure, but no, it's a bit harsh.
Here it goes again, Tash.
So he starts
3,
wheels
4.
around, 9, 10, 11, 12, and he stops.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's still going. Yeah,
still going. Okay.
He's gone.
Well, I guess the other one was a distance.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a 5 by 5. It wasn't a far radius.
They do say 15 metres. He probably didn't run 15 metres, but he did take 15, maybe 20 steps.
Yep, he's gone.
So St Mary's are now well over 100. They're 111 to Tars 28. 11 minutes gone in the third quarter. St Mary's trying to get it out of the centre square, but it's a big up and under for Waratahs. Put up in the air by Blake, and on the 50-metre arc, it's going to be a turnover going towards St Mary's. Daly goes across the field, still inside their defensive 50. Davies goes down the line, directly under the scoreboard, so they're in the middle of the centre wing.
Oh.
They chop back in, and it's an ugly kick, picked up, though, by St Mary's. Oh, there's another St Mary's player down on the ground. Keep an eye on that. Parnell hasn't moved after slipping over. I'll keep with the play. Going for a shot on goal. Karanua has been run down beautifully. The Waratah forward thought he was home and hosed, and Morris Rioli Jr. has run down Karanua and saved a certain goal.
Jack Long now with the ball, delivers beautifully to Kieran Parnell on centre wing. Miraculous recovery from him when the ball came in his direction. Delivered to Shannon Rioli, goes back now to Jack Long. He's a beautiful kick, is Jack Long. Not on this occasion. Rakiwasa did well. The ball just too high for Calder. Rakiwasa able to sit back off him and take the mark. He's delivered it out wide well. Gone now to a teammate in Joel Stevens, is it? In fact, a teammate there is Arundel. So Arundel, the long kick down centre wing is, what's the call? The players are waiting for out of bounds on the full. It's off hands. It'll be a boundary throw in. So just under the scoreboard, St Mary's 17-9, 111. Waratahs 4-4, 28, and the boundary throw in. Just to the left of the scoreboard.
As the sun comes shining back out.
Pokes out behind the clouds. Ball up. Smith wins it easily. Two-handed fist towards their goal. It's going to be leading the race for Waratah, and he's just happy to see it over the boundary. There'll be a throw-in directly in the same spot, but it was Blake for Waratah who wasn't able to gather it, and it went over the boundary for a throw-in.
And Dom Booth for Waratahs is doing all he can to annoy Jackson Geary and just niggle at him, hoping that he gets under his skin, but Jackson Geary is too professional.
Falls in the lap of Smith. He gives a handball off to Ben Rioli. Second bounce, 60 metres out. Shot on goal, right forward pocket. It wasn't a shot on goal in the end. It was looking for the lead of Peter McFarlane, who'd led from outside the goal square. So there'll be a ball, throw in 5 metres from the right post in the right forward pocket for St Mary's. Just waiting for the two ruckmen to make their way over. Ball up. Smith easily at the back, was trying to find Geary. He has laid a heavy tackle, but it's Waratah who are trying to get it out. Picked off by Wilson. Oh, he tried to go for the dummy, and in doing so, he's actually dropped the ball. He slipped to the ground, and he's picked up a free for high against Gardner from Tars. And so he was trying to dodge, and he slipped over, and at the same time, he's copped it from Gardner. So he is going to have a shot 30 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Someone's taken the hair tie out of his head.
Yeah, second quarter that happened, just at the end of the second quarter. Lost the hair tie.
He must be asking some of the fellas down there who's got one. No one's got one for him.
So the flowing locks of Wilson goes on to the fourth step, and he kicks it straight through the goalpost, directly over the goal umpire's hat. And that for Wilson is his fourth for the day. First for the third quarter as well.
And you see just oh, yeah, he did cop it high. But he did lose his footing, so you could, not much he can do about that as a defender. But 4 to Anthony Wilson. Geez, just him running into goal with the flocks flowing then was something from the 80s, wasn't it?
Well, they now have a 15-goal advantage here. That is a huge blowout for St Mary's.
Ball back in the middle now. I'm just trying to think of the players with flowing locks. Johnny Platten was one of them. There was another one for Carlton who used to run off the half-back flank.
Did it one stage. He had a few flocks.
Ryan Smith from the middle gets it down to Tyler Saunders. Couldn't handle cleanly. Paredes gets in and under as per usual. Just gets a kick out wide. Morris Rioli Jr., who tries to spear a pass into McFarlane. Dropped a sitter. Can't pick it up. Pressure's on. Tarzan in numbers now. Arundel gets in. Handball away. Was tossed away without the foot. He must get the free, and he does. He worked hard to get in there, put his body in. Peter McFarlane will be kicking himself for dropping that mark.
He did, and when he went for the second attempt, he actually took it out of Anthony Wilson's hands, who was screaming past. So
Arundel now under pressure with Josh Cheek on the mark. Kicks up towards Ryan Smith, got hands to it, punched away from him and out over the boundary line with Kim Cantilla in pursuit. So a boundary throw in, just to the right of our commentary position, and also the St Mary's cool room. The shade of the grandstand slowly starting to come over here. St Mary's 117, Waratah's 28.
Smith in front of Hemmings. Hemmings for Tars has got the zinc cream on, and he's given away a free kick from behind. So Smith, the ruckman, 70 metres from goal on the right side. And news just coming through three-quarter time, and it's Nightcliff and Tiwi Bombers 58 apiece. As Smith went to the lead of Peter McFarlane in the right forward pocket, and he dropped a mark he should have taken. So now 15 metres out from the Saints goalpost on the right side. Hemmings in front of Smith, going up in the ruck. Smith just tosses him out of the way. A good fist forward, looking for Shannon Rioli. He's paddling it forward, and it goes over the boundary line again.
Oh, it's a free kick. It's a free kick.
In the back. So it's going to be a free kick for Shannon Rioli. So he was paddling it forward nicely, and he's been able to draw a free kick because he had it out in front. So he is hugging the boundary. 15 metres from the right of the post. 2 Waratahs players plus the man on the mark is all that is near Shannon Rioli. And he goes and looks and finds Ben Rioli with a cheeky kick from the boundary. He was never going to have a shot on goal. He hadn't angled the ball, and he just found a vacant St Mary's player, and he has picked out Ben Rioli, who has a much better opportunity here. 45-degree angle on the left and only 35 metres out.
I hope he kicks it, and then I hope Shannon gets a goal, so then all the Riolis have got a goal in the Milestone game.
So Ben Rioli kicks it, and all of the players near him,
he loves
10 of them are coming in, and there is big celebrations. Even the ruckman Smith is heading over to him.
They love him.
Ben Rioli.
He is one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet, always smiling, but just lifts his team, and you can see the impact that he has with, look where they've all ran from just to get around him. You know, we spoke about Waratahs not doing that with some good plays today, and no matter what, if you're getting flogged or not, you've really got to get around your teammates and try and lift them up. But Ben Rioli, the smiling assassin.
Well, he's picked up his first, and as you mentioned, the milestone. It's 1,000 Premier League games for the Rioli family. So all added up. And this is a special moment for Shannon Rioli. He designed the Guernseys that they're wearing. And even better news, Wilson has his hair tied up.
Someone's found a hair tie.
So a free kick out of the middle here. Ryan Smith had won it down to Geary, and now a free kick. And it's going to go here to Tyler Saunders by the look of it. Jacob Long scoots past looking for a handball. Saunders says, no, I'm going to go long and direct. Bit of an up and under. McFarlane underneath it. Got a hand to a lovely tap over from Smith. Paredes left it for Larson. Larson was leaving it for Paredes. Comes back in. Rekiwase is tackled by Paredes and brought to ground. See, McFarlane's come into the game.
Yeah, he has. He's working his way into it as he comes off for a spell, but he's definitely working his way into it. Anthony Vallejo spoke about getting the rust out. Well, I reckon he's getting a lot of that out. Yeah. Especially his hands. His hands have been great.
Ball tossed high now. Smith wins it down. Ben Rioli couldn't quite grab hold of it. Charges into the bottom of a pack. Smith's there as well. Getting a quick kick away is Bullis. Away now, Henry Keranua by hand. Muncook on the charge. So too Shannon Rioli. Wrapped up in a really good tackle there by Brendan Muncook. He certainly tried hard this afternoon. The umpire says, I will have it, and ball it up 40 metres out. Inside Saints attacking 50. Quick ball up. Ryan Smith wins it down. Goes again to Bullis. Quick kick out. Looking for a teammate close to the boundary. Davies did well. Knew Anthony Wilson was there. Tapped it back to him. Couldn't hold him in the tackle. Handball to Davies. High up and under. Looking here for Smith. Goes high. One hand. Smashed away from him by Hemmings. Tackling Mincook. There was Morris Rioli Jr. Anthony Wilson couldn't handle. Goes back in for the tackle on Zobel. Mincook in there again. Tackle, get it away to Hemmings. Hemmings did so well. Handball came from Keranua. Off now to Simpson. 1-2 Simpson. Now back to Rekiwase on the run from deep defence. Kicks out wide. Looking here for Stevens. Doesn't go for it. Leaves it for a teammate in Strubens. Strubens, that's a beautiful pass. Well done, Tars. The mark there to Tyson Schmidt. 45 from goal, 30-degree angle, right of centre.
They worked really hard to get that ball into their forward line, didn't they? I thought they were going to turn it over back here with one too many hand passes, but in the end it broke open the play and they had some space to run into.
Schmidt now on the approach. The right footer kicks on goal, and that's a poor kick from that distance. Just didn't really look like he was even going to make the distance, and it faded late to the right for a behind. So Tars 4-5-29, St Mary's 19-9, 123, 21 gone in the third.
And Jack Long with a short kick into the right back pocket to Armitage. Not too far away from the three-quarter siren. Armitage tried to find Larson. He was too casual and he dropped the ball, and it's going to be taken over the boundary from a Waratah player. So a toss in. It's about 60 metres out from the St Mary's goal post. Smith in the ruck up against Wilson. Short ball, and Wilson's able to tap it over the back. Oh, only as far as Stevens, and he was absolutely mauled, Stevens, there by two St Mary's players. So now Stevens steps around Larson on the mark, goes up to full forward looking for Strubens, but it was a wayward kick and Strubens wasn't able to be honoured there. So now St Mary's are going to go out the left back pocket. Oh, beautiful fake there from Jacob Long. And he's got a lot of vacant St Mary's players. Morris Rioli Jr. was the target, but it was touched off the boot. Now the ball's back in the middle. There's about 5 players around it, including Jacob Long. The handball comes out. Morris Rioli Jr. puts it onto the boot, up towards Cheek. Overrun by Milcook from Tars. He tackles and dispossesses Cheek for Saints. Oh, the ball's come out, and it's been a good smother from St Mary's. Oh, this is a tough footy in the middle of the park at the moment. Morris Rioli Jr. picking it up, putting the afterburners on, takes a bounce. It's an ugly bounce. Wilkins comes in from Tars, pokes it forward though. Now it's Wilson from St Mary's who's out in front, tapping it forward to himself, but a great tackle there by Waratah, and he takes Wilson and the ball over the boundary, and it is going to be a throw-in on the right forward pocket. That was about 60 metres from the Saints goal.
That was well done by James Waratah then. Wilson was trying to use his pace, but he stuck with him.
Ryan Smith wins it out of the ruck contest again, gets the ball away to Manteet. Charging at it here was Waratah again. Coming away with it for Tars was Simpson. Leaving the ball behind them was Matthew Blake. Ben Rioli coming in very, very hard. Clayton Tipalora, that's a terrible little chip kick. Didn't really do anything for his team at all. Well done, though, to Tipalora. Got back in there to clean up, and then another dinky little kick. 3 metres, hit Jacob Long on the chest. Luckily for Clayton Tipalora, siren sounds for three-quarter time. There's not much luck whatsoever here for the Waratah Football Club in general. St Mary's 19-9, 123 lead Waratahs 4-5-29.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice,
come in and see us.
Still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
So here's everything you need to know about the Great Air Race in 30 seconds or less. 100 years ago, there was a race from London to Darwin by aeroplane. And mates, this was only 20 years after the first aeroplane flew just 37 metres. The winning plane, a Vickers Vimy, was flown by Australian brothers Ross and Keith Smith and their mechanics Wally Shires and Jim Bennett. This was the birth of international air travel, and they landed in Parap, There's a park there now. Some people reckon their flight was almost as significant as the Apollo missions 50 years later. Some of the places they landed had never even seen an aeroplane before. This year, a guy called Michael Smith, who isn't related to the other Smiths, is retracing the exact flight 100 years on. The Great Air Race. What a great territory story. Yeah, I know, it was longer than 30 seconds. There's just too much to fit in.
Points in front. We had that advantage last week as well, so it's good, and you make the most of it because it doesn't happen very often, so you definitely embrace it, but you still stick to your structures and you really get into each other as well, as that, you know, don't worry about the scoreboard. You still get out there and play to your game plans and listen to your coach and listen to your leadership group.
And it is tough to watch sometimes, isn't it, Dominic, being in the commentary box, because, as Tash said, there's one side really enjoying their footy, absolutely dominating, and then some of the players like Kera Nua, you know, they're trying hard at stages, but also their body language after a wayward kick, or, you know, they're not able to get to an area they should have, or the kick didn't go there. Their body language just shows how frustrated they are.
Oh, look, it does indeed. It's very difficult when you're being thrashed. It is very difficult to keep yourself mentally up and keep trying, because you know, I mean, clearly they're 94 points down. You're not winning this game.
But this quarter. That's the challenge,
so you think,
isn't it?
why am I going to bother?
Yeah.
You know, but part of that is about pride, reputation. Next week, you know, what do we, all that sort of thing, and a coach has to try and drive a player forward.
Dominic McCormack, the voice there. I'm Shannon Byrne, and we're joined by Natasha Medbury, and we're about to get underway for the third quarter.
If you look at the team list for Waratahs, like, who really stands out there that's played, you know, for many years, it's a leader out there that can bring the team together. It's a really inexperienced team.
Ryan Smith up high against Wilkins. Wilkins won it down, but only as far as Paredes. And a great grab. The second grabber, as usual, there by McFarlane. Handballs off to Shannon Rioli. They're trying to get him on the goal-kicking list. Lovely little chip from him, though, goes to Paredes, who was instantly in space.
That's going to be their task. That is their game plan. Get Rioli, Shannon, a goal.
Ben Rioli's kicked one in the third quarter. Morris Rioli Jr.'s kicked 3, 2 in the first and 1 in the second. Shannon Rioli, the captain, has not yet kicked a goal on this very special occasion for the Rioli family. Paredes comes in now. 48 metres out. Kick on its way. He's kicked one. He's not going to make the distance. He's certainly not going to have the accuracy. Did have the distance in the end, but not where he wanted it to be. A point on the board is how they start the last quarter. So 124 to 29.
And that special milestone is 1,000 Premier League games for the Rioli family collectively. As Zobel brings it out, comes down the right looking for Wilkins, but it was the front position for St Mary's, big ruckman Smith. Ball's down on the ground, and it's been a throw, incorrect disposal. A throw, the umpire is saying, from Larson. So now, Tars, down in the middle of the oval. Simpson, long ball out, wants to find the run of Waratah. He's picked up and tackled, play on, because the ball is now in the lap of Strubens. He gets a piercing ball inside the forward 50. Oh, play on as well. Looked like an incorrect disposal, and it is now going to be mopped up and taken outside for St Mary's. Anthony Long goes long down the outer wing, trying to find Peter McFarlane. He wasn't able to take the mark out in front. So now it's Waratah who have picked it up, gone to the left forward pocket, trying to find Schmid, and he is being harassed well. There's a great contest out on the outer wing. And the whistle's gone from the furthest umpire.
Because the Waratah player, I think, charged in at the legs there of David Armitage.
Yeah. Armitage
took his legs out.
So dangerous play, and Armitage now is, kicked into the defensive 50. Larson slipped over. Tars have the numbers with the jumpers. Quick handball back to Strubens. He got the give and go. And he tried to kick, and we've seen the shortest kick on the field. It went a metre, and it's been chopped off by St Mary's. Morris Rioli Jr. tries to get it down to Shannon Rioli. He's running along playing a bit of Gaelic football, trying to kick it up to himself.
He's so clever. He loves his soccer. He loves Manchester United, and you see him do it in every game.
And because it was on the ground, his jumper was pulled and he was held without the ball.
Free kick, and he's delivered it beautifully too. Jacob Long leading up inside forward 50, takes the mark. The man on the mark now about 47 metres out, right of centre. And Jacob Long, Only kicked a few goals this season. It's a few leads coming. He's ignored all of them. Kick on its way, and that is an ordinary kick from Jacob Long. Out of bounds on the full.
Trying to get the distance. I don't think he had the distance in his leg, and just trying for distance has sprayed it.
And if he knew that, there were 2 leads on, he should have honoured one of them. One would think.
Yeah, for a young player.
Yep. So turnover, Waratahs will take the free kick in the left back pocket. 3.5 minutes gone in this last quarter. 124 plays 29. Saints in the lead.
So a long kick trying to get him out of their defensive 50, and it's going to go over the back of St Mary's player. There's going to be a play on, and it's going to be 1-2, dribble bounce there from Milcook. Picks it up, puts it onto the left, looking for Karanua. Chopped off by St Mary's, but only as far as Rakawasa. Rakawasa picks it up, wheels around, and he finds Shaper. But picked up by Karanua, no one around him, and on the left, 40 metres out in front, and he does not miss, and he was not able to even have one person near him. So Karanua, and look at that, one person goes over to give him a high five, and that just shows the body language of Tars at the moment. It's his 2nd goal and only their 5th for the game, and we are 4 minutes into the final quarter.
Yeah, just at the right place at the right time, Kim Cantilla, and did the right thing, had the space, and it's always the best to get to your balance and have a shot on goal. If you've got the time and the space, get your balance and make sure it goes through the big sticks. You can't teach that enough during training.
He's tried hard, Karanua, hasn't he?
He's been up and about, himself and Hodgson. They've looked, like we said, dangerous when they've had open play and the ball's been down there, but they just haven't had the ball from the centre delivered down to them in the forward line.
Ryan Smith now to go up against Hemmings. Smith up high, wins it down easily. Ben Rioli cruising through midfield. Kick now up inside 50. Target is Calder, wrestles away, gets hands to it, couldn't mark it. Comes back in again as ball hit the ground. Takes possession, wrestles away with his opponent there in Waratah. And the umpire says, I will have it. 35 out from goal. Smith, in fact, Calder will go up in the ruck contest. Does do that, takes the footy out. McFarlane shepherds in the goal square, unselfishly so, and it bounces through for Jackson Calder's 6th goal of the afternoon. Peter McFarlane, hats off to you. Wonderful team play.
Just come close to nearly holding the player. I thought he had his arms wrapped around him in that goal square. It'd be good to see on replays. We'll watch here. Calder takes it out of the ruck, too strong for Hemmings. Gets it on the boot. You can just see we're not going to see on the replay, but the arms sort of just were a little bit around his opponent, making sure he dropped to the ground with him to get it over, but it's a goal in the end. 6 goals, it's not a bad day out, is it, for Calder?
Oh, fantastic.
St Mary's 130 leading Waratah 35. 7 minutes gone. Smith in the ruck. He's been rucking majority of the day for St Mary's, and he taps it forward to Greery. He was running past, puts it up to full forward area, and from behind there is going to be a free kick, and it was high. Tars are wanting to play on in the outer wing, but it's going to be coming back. But Smith has done a mountain of work for St Mary's in the ruck, and for Waratah, they have had to change their ruck around. So we're just waiting for the ball to come back. Free kick going to Bullis. Oh, no one's going to go and pick the ball up. Calder's asking what he did wrong. Umpire had indicated high. So Bullis, a bullet-like pass, couldn't be picked up by one of his players. Jacob Long is in there, and St Mary's is still making it hard for Waratah to get outside their defensive 50, and the pressure on Bullis has seen him kick it out of bounds on the full centre wing, and it will be St Mary's with a free kick in.
No, it's a boundary throw in.
Oh, did it just make it in?
Yeah, Leroy Larson was calling for deliberate instead of running for the footy. So, boundary throw in out on the far wing. 130 plays 35. Smith up against Hemmings. Smith wins it away. Charging in at it for Tars is Simpson. Handball comes out favouring Saints. Handball comes now to Jackson Geary. He pops up a little kick. Bullis does beautifully. Read the footy so well. Punched it away. Morris Rioli Jr. gathered. Got a handball away. Charging in there was Shannon Rioli. Ben Rioli now releases by hand. Tyler Saunders to Shannon Rioli. Wheels around on the right boot. Kicks on goal and kicks a behind.
Still doesn't have that goal.
Anti-climax there for Shannon Rioli. 131 plays 35.
I'm just trying to start working out who my 3-2-1s would be. And I think there's one player that's definitely got the 3.
So a long kick from Zobel for St Mary's, but over the head of one of his players, and it's been now turned over by St Mary's. A little up and under looking for the lead of Calder. He's brought down, now grabbing at his back. Tars have got it out of their defensive 50. A wayward kick by O'Connor. Now St Mary's have the number, and Jack Long was involved in there. Greary getting it forward to Saunders. Saunders with a little one to Davies. He puts it in the right forward pocket, looking for McFarlane. McFarlane is tackled in the right forward pocket, and the ball is going to go out. Actually, for St Mary's, that was Manteet who was on that lead, and he's just grabbing at his lower back on the right. He's not 100% out there at the moment.
Yeah, looking a little bit ginger. It was a hard contest. He landed on his back.
Boundary throw in now. McFarlane up in the ruck, down towards Geary again. Unceremoniously shoved over. The ball comes out to Henry Keranua. Trying to tap it forward was Clayton Tipalora. Labastida charging in. In fact, that might have been Shannon Rioli there at the bottom of the pack. And the umpire says, I will have it. They'll ball it up 30 metres out from Saints' goal. Pressure on here. Can Waratah stave off a 100-point plus victory to St Mary's? Can Shannon Rioli kick a goal? Ball tapped backwards. Tars with possession. Little chip comes out. The only player who's reading it well out there was Tom Davies. He gets on his bike and grabs hold of it. Handballs backwards. Goes here to Anthony Long. The high up and under. Tyler Saunders slaps it backwards. Keranua's there, so too Morris Rioli Jr. There's some talent amongst that group, isn't there? Ball comes to the back. Rioli Jr. just soccers it off the ground. Hits a Waratah leg. That'll be out of bounds on the full, which should be a free kick to St Mary's.
It is. The umpires are just convening here, but...
That has to be a free kick to St Mary's, doesn't it?
It's going to Morris Rioli
they're
Jr.
still talking, and now he's made the decision. Morris Rioli Jr. with the free kick. Has kick 3. Finds himself about 45 out. Now he goes with the banana from 45 and kicks a behind.
Only just, mind you.
Actually, there wasn't a lot of time or thought there when there was just banana, I'm kicking it. Bang.
Zobel, quick play on, comes out the right for Waratah. Goes a good mark taken there by Simpson. It was a 2-on-1, and Simpson got it back. He now just chips it forward, but it's been cut off there by Geary. And Geary into centre, the full forward. Peter McFarlane dropped the mark. Calder's picking it up at ground level. Snap on goal, and it goes to the left of the post. And St Mary's creep out 131 to Waratah 35. Can they break the 100-point margin here?
Tars with ball in hand now, looking to bring the ball back into play. Kick out wide here, looking for Kim Cantilla. Takes a nice mark. Chip sideways, goes to Arata. It's been okay for Tars. Little chip again from him, goes to Keranua, who just was a little bit casual. Ben Rioli wasn't casual. He has to go back to Arata. Long kick under pressure. Punched away by Anthony Long there. Comes back here to Schmid. Little handball up. Fumbled initially there by Shaper. Comes back now to Strubens. His kick is good. Hits the chest of Rekawasa, who couldn't quite mark it. Pressure on. And the umpire says, I will have it. 60 away from Tars' goal. Grandstand side. We've gone 12 minutes in the last quarter. 133 plays 35.
And they're nearly 100 points in front, St Mary's, but still the intent that they're playing is a credit to the team and the coach.
Hemmons front of the ruck, and he has a huge fist of it. Goes about 10 metres straight back out over the boundary. And while St Mary's are giving Ben Rioli the luxury of a rest, Keranua was standing at the interchange looking for one of the Tars players, and no one was too eager to come on. But now it's St Mary's getting it outside their defensive 50, and just taking it over was Anthony Long for Saints. So they're 60 metres around from the Tars post.
Just needed to keep an eye on Maurice Rioli Jr. comes straight off, asked for an interchange after this last contest here, went straight into the rooms, and Shannon Rioli's just left to go straight into the rooms under, not the cold rooms, under, back into the change room. So hopefully there's nothing serious there.
Terrific mark taken by Ryan Smith. Handballs off beautifully to Jack Long. Kick went over the head of McFarlane. Bullis gathers under pressure. He handballed nicely. Done some good things in this last quarter. That kick, however, was a poor one from Arundel. Hits Ryan Smith on the chest. He goes straight away and finds Paredes. Paredes drills a pass into McFarlane. Does the usual, the little two grabber. Takes the mark. Has an opportunity here, does McFarlane. Still is yet to kick a goal in this match. And finds himself kicking on goal with about a 35-degree angle left of centre in that left forward pocket.
Hasn't kicked one yet. He'd like to get his name on the board.
He'd love to. The number 29. Kick on its way. Starts at left, brings it back, and he punches the air. He's kicked his first for the afternoon, and deservedly so. He's played a good game. St Mary's 21-13, 139. Waratah 5-5-35. And Natasha, they've broken that 100-point barrier. St Mary's lead by 104 points.
Yeah, deservedly as well. They've played absolutely brilliant as Shannon Rioli's come back out from the rooms, but still no Morris no, he is down there. He did come back out, which is good news for the Rioli clan that's going to celebrate a big milestone tonight. I'm sure there'll be a big function happening at the club.
So 3 Riolis playing in this match, and this today marks 1,000 men's Premier League matches for the Rioli family. And they're going to have a huge win tonight as Smith, who's been winning in the ruck all day, taps it down only as far as a Tars player, and he's wrapped up quickly by Geary, and there'll be a ball up still in the middle of Marara Oval. Smith wins it, tries to tap it behind him, but it's going to be Cheek. 1, 2, 3 juggles, and he is going to have an incorrect disposal against him. Great work and pressure put in him by Simpson. Simpson goes over to Milcook. Milcook drops a mark. Oh, umpire said take it back, and he goes long kick down looking for Hudson, but it's going to be mopped up here now by St Mary's, who are going to come out of the defensive 50, and it's going to be an easy mark to Jacob Long. He just holds the ball up. Jacob Long goes into the middle of the park, and just taking his time and running back is Parnell. He finds Cheek, who's unmarked on the right wing, on the left foot, putting it out in front. Cleverly there from Paredes. He's tackled, and that'll be holding the ball. And he was in two minds in the end. A fabulous tackle there for Waratah. So it was a much needed tackle in the end in the left back pocket, and they come out of their defensive 50 with a huge kick out.
Beautiful mark, Parnell.
It was a great mark there by Parnell. He gets on his bike, runs away quickly, handballs away now to Larson, has a little bit of a look, and a good kick finds McFarlane. The umpire hasn't paid the mark, and he kicks into the corridor. The mark taken there by Joel Stevens.
Fortunate in amongst 4 St Mary's players.
What a mark. The kick out wide. Well done by Jackson Geary against 2 Waratah opponents. Holds the footy up at half forward.
Without giving away the free kick.
Without giving away the free kick.
Clever player.
There's a blood rule here? Or is there a...
There's a report. There is definitely a report.
So, not sure what's going on here. There's a Waratah player leaving the ground. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the footy here, because if there's a Waratah player leaving the ground and a report, it must be a Saints player who's being reported. So the ball being held aloft by the umpire.
Zobel's the one that's come off for Tars.
And he's going to ball it up. So Rekawasa wins that down, goes to Blake. Blake couldn't handle. Comes out now towards Joel Stevens, charging at it. Taking it away for St Mary's. However, Liam Daly, he's dumped. And the ball thumped over the line there by O'Connor for Tars, deep in the right back pocket. So boundary throw in, 25 around from Saints goal. Almost 18 minutes gone in this quarter. 139 plays 35. St Mary's well in command.
You need to get Shannon Rioli back out there. We want to see him kick this goal. Ball comes down. Oh, good tackle.
McFarlane after the Geary kick. Oh, Wilson just strolls into another easy one. Gee, just made that look too easy. And Anthony Wilson, one might think he hasn't really done much or hasn't appeared very much. 5 goals for the afternoon, challenging Jackson Calder, who's kicked 6. So St Mary's 22-13, 145. Tars 5-5, 35.
And again, Peter McFarlane just slapped it into the path of Wilson there. Just the teamwork and the 1%ers that St Mary's do, I think, out of all teams, are the most dominant team that do it. You don't get a stat for it, but just the way that they work for each other and they do the right thing by their team and by getting the goals on the board, it's just those little things that count.
And some of the old firm there as well too, Natasha. I mean, Jackson Geary, McFarlane, Wilson coming through. To me, a whole lot of what they've done today, it's been all about pressure and being on the move.
Yeah. They haven't been flat-footed at all.
No.
Yeah. Even Anthony Wilson, you haven't seen him flat-footed at a pack. He's been bursting through the pack.
So ball up in the middle. Smith wins it down and beautifully taken out through St Mary's Manteet. He goes down towards Calder. Calder not able to pick it up, but on the ground he was clever. And there's a handball now to Wilson. Wilson from the right forward pocket. And it's just gone to the left. And that is another point to St Mary's. That lead now is 22-14, 146 to Waratah, 5-5-35. 19 minutes gone in the final term.
Tars now bringing the ball back into play. Ryan Smith just standing tall in the contest. I'm not sure why they kicked there. Smith steps around his opponent, delivers, and Jacob Long ducked the head there for a moment, took the second grab, took the mark, has the opportunity here to go back and kick his first for the afternoon. And players go to Ryan Smith there, Tash, just recognising the marker. He's had a huge game this afternoon. Not trying to influence your 3-2-1 there, Natasha.
I've got a few names written here, and I've scribbled out a few names as more pop up in this last quarter, but it's...
Jacob Long now coming in, having his shot at goal. He's very happy. He's put that one through. Saints marching on here, and they move on to 23-14, 152. Waratah's 5-5, 35.
37 shots to 10.
That says it all. The scoring shots are just enormous.
It turned into a bit of a training run for St Mary's.
But they've kept the intensity up, haven't they?
Yep.
They really have.
They've kicked 5 goals so far in this final term. They kicked 6 in the first, 6 in the second, 7 in the third, and they've now kicked 4 goals. Four goals in the final term. A couple of minutes left. What can they still do here? Kicking towards the Michael Long Learning Centre, so they're not even kicking with the breeze. Ball up in the middle. Hemmings for Waratah, and a great tackle and a play on there. So it's kicked forward, out in front. Over it is Saunders. And at St Mary's. Beautiful kick forward from Manteet, gets Geary on the run at the centre square.
Yes.
From the goal square. Geary kicked it to the goal square, and Shannon Rioli was in the pack. He's kicked it off the ground, and they're all over Shannon Rioli, their captain, and rightly so. The Guernseys that every St Mary's player is playing today and wearing is designed by this man here. And just beautifully got...
Jackson Geary could see him at the back as well, so he's kicked it on his left, mind you. And you could just see him hanging around at the back, getting tackled, and the excitement on his face. It means a lot to him, and a very special game. And now we have the... it's complete. For my commentating here tonight, I'm
You're done.
Yeah, I wanted him to get a goal, and he's got it, because there's no one that deserves it more than the Rioli family, and especially Shannon and Ben. They're gentlemen on and off the field, and just a pleasure to watch and speak to when you see them.
Ball tossed high. Tom Davies now in the ruck contest against Hemmings. He won it down straight to Geary. Geary not going anywhere. Great tackle laid there for Tars, and now a bit of cramp being suffered there by the tackler in Dom Booth. Yeah, he's struggling a bit, that is for sure. Cramping up there on the right leg.
The umpire's being nice and waiting for
The
him.
umpire is being very nice, actually. If this was an AFL game, that ball would have just been tossed straight up in the air.
He's being really, really nice.
I have never seen that. This is not a blood rule or anything, and he's still waiting for him.
30 metres away from him.
Ball tossed high in the air now. Davies up against Hemmings. Hemmings wins it, but tapped forward now by Paredes. Stolen away, I think, there by Cantilla. Now it's out here to Kim Cantilla. That was Keranua who got it to him. Steps around, does Kim Cantilla. Up there towards Gorman. Tapped away by Labastida. In comes Jacob Longs. You've been impressed with Henry Labastida. Jacob Longs kicks good down the wing. McFarlane, little touch on it. Stolen away from him by Liam O'Connor. Delivered the handball away now. Henry Keranua in the game. Tackle. Morris Rioli Jr. Hasn't he been in the game? And
50.
Within the protected zone, Liam O'Connor. Geez, a little bit hard. That's a bit harsh. Morris Rioli Jr. played on quite quickly. Where was he meant to go?
Backtrack and go around. Yeah, he was still jogging close enough with him with his hands up, saying, I'm not going to interfere. But, yeah, he ran into his space.
He didn't make an attempt to try.
Handball on here to Shannon Rioli. Goes from 50. Curves it in for a second. Shannon Rioli's kicked 2 in a row. Oh, well done, Morris Rioli Jr. And Natasha Medbury, again, it sums up today. This has not been a day about greed or go for yourself. This has been a day about teamwork.
Yep, it has been. And you see Morris Rioli Jr. There he is. He didn't make an attempt. He didn't backtrack, so you're right there, Shannon.
I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He ran into the area.
I tried.
I know, you can't.
The intent that Morris Rioli Jr. has played with since start to finish, they're 100 points in front, and just his attack on the ball, an endeavour to get that free kick. He tried to tackle about 3 players, ended up winning the free kick for holding the ball. Well done to the young fella.
129-point margin here, and the siren is not too far away. Tap down in the middle, and it's now Tars who are trying to get it out, but it's going to be still a huge amount of bodies. Morris Rioli Jr., his handball is cut off by Hemmings from Tars, and it's kicked forward into their forward 50 through Steubens. But only as far as St Mary's defence, and it's going to come out of their defensive area. Zobel not able to get around Manti, and he has taken it over the boundary on the grandstand wing, still in favour of Waratahs, but there's no favour on the scoreboard there, Tash.
No, they're just, Waratahs are hanging out for this siren to go. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be one that they don't remember.
Ball comes away from the ruck contest. Tom Davies getting it away to Henry Labastida. Lovely kick into space to Leroy Larson. Steps one way, then the other. Tackle, managed to get a handball away. Wilson in the contest. Leroy Larson leaves to leave his opponent alone. Wilson gets it up towards Calder. Trips over. Geary's there. He'll be clean. Delivered a handball away. Tars doing well here, putting the pressure on. Oh, they've done beautifully. Joel Stevens, get in there. Tap the ball away. They do it again. Well done. Reikiwasa over the footy now. Trying to step around Shannon Rioli. Gets a handball away to Shaper. Lovely little kick up here towards Angus Hodson. What can he do with it? Kick inside 50. No mark taken. Jacob Long got a hand to it. Goes back in again. Just let the ball go and came back onto it. Now the ball in the hands of Matthew Blake. Snaps towards the goal square. Comes towards Labastida. Slap away from Gorman. Goes towards a teammate in Schmidt. Can he pick it up cleanly? He can't. Cheek comes in, puts the pressure on and dumps the opponent without the footy. The shot on goal is a point, so it will come back to Tyson Schmidt for a direct shot at goal in the corridor.
Yeah, it was there. He dumped his player Cheek.
Just went on with it, didn't he? Didn't need to.
Didn't need to. They worked hard to get that ball down there. I thought it started in the back line, the defensive 50 here for Waratahs that worked the ball out well. And Rakasiwa through the midfield. The only positive, I guess, that they can take out of this game as well is that when they put him into the midfield, he has started to make a little bit of difference. Just gave him a little bit more run and penetrating the ball into the 50.
Tyson Schmidt now. Can he kick Tars' 6th goal for the afternoon? Wastes no time. 45 metres on the siren. Kicks the goal for Tars, but it doesn't matter. 1,000 games for the Rioli family this afternoon, and St Mary's celebrate with a huge victory here. 25-14, 164. Waratah 6-5, 41. They...
here for when the heavens open and the wind